talk about, you guys know how to solve simple one-step and two-step equations right now.
Yes.
And you guys are fairly good at it. Fist of 5, how do you feel about them? Just want to make sure. And today's lecture is going to be really simple. You're not going to, you're going to be happy. And what it's doing is I'm adding a level of complexity to an equation. But in order to do this, we've got to first talk about the distributive property. We can't do equations with distributive properties until we know what a distributive property is. So a distributive property is something where you have a number next to a parenthesis, and then you have, 2 or 3 or 4 or more terms inside that parenthesis. So if I had, here's my first example. If I had 4 parentheses x plus 3. 4 parentheses x plus 3. Distributive property says I have to distribute this. This says 4 times, right? Parenthesis always means multiply. I have to distribute this 4, the 4 times to this, and the 4 times to this. So Tom, you want to help me?
Oh wait, so don't you make the x 4x?
So you do these little arcs to remind yourself. So yes, so the first one, 4 times x is, right, 4x.
And then plus.
Plus, because there's a plus sign.
12.
Plus 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Piece of cake, right? That's pretty easy. I suggest you, at least for now, do the arcs until you're really good at it. So often people will forget about this one. They'll just say 4x plus 3, right? They'll forget to distribute it to the last number. So you want to make sure you distribute to the last number. Okay, let's try another one. 2. Okay, 12 times 2x minus 6. All right. I've got to do the 12 times this and the 12 times this. 12 times 2 is what? 24. So 12 times 2x is what? 24x. And then it says 12 times, this is how I do it. Instead of writing a minus sign here, I do this. I say 12 times negative 6. You see what I'm doing? 12 times a negative 6, which is negative 72, right? Did I do that right? Negative 72. We're done. That's it. Can't go any further. All right, let's try another one. 3. 6 times 7x minus 5. So I'm going to do my little arcs to remind myself to do the both. 6 times 7?
42.
42x, right? X just tags along. And then 6 times negative 5?
30. Negative 30.
Negative 30. I put negative 30, and there it is. Fist of 5. Is this pretty easy?
Right?
Pretty
I don't
straightforward.
even think about it as negative 5. I just bring the minus sign over. I just bring it over.
That's fine. All right. So, but the reason I sometimes suggest that you just think of it as 6 times negative 5 is what if I did this? Negative 2 parenthesis, negative 3x minus 7. All right? So I think of it as a negative 2 times a negative 3x. Negative times negative is? Positive. 2 times 3 is?
5.
No.
5.
6. 6x, right? And then I think of negative, so now I think of it as negative 2 times negative 7, right? You see why I'm doing it that way? Because if I had just said negative, because it says negative there, I might be messed up. I might get confused. So I prefer to think of negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. You with me? You see that? You see that? Let's try one more like that. 5. We got negative 4 parenthesis 7x minus 3. So I've got my little arcs. And I got negative 4 times 7. What's that?
Negative 28.
Okay, so
Negative 28x.
Negative 28x. Negative 4 times negative 3.
Positive 12.
Positive 12. Good job. Right? Pretty easy, right? Yes, Blake.
So you would just keep the, you wouldn't simplify it anymore?
Yeah, that is as far as you can go. You can't do anything else. All you're doing is you're distributing the 4 by multiplying it times each term. This is a term, that's a term. Terms are separated by pluses or minus signs. Plus or minus signs. Okay? Pretty straightforward, right? So now let's look at what it might look like in an equation. So in an equation, I might see something like this. I'm going to start over with 1 because now we're talking equation. So 2 parentheses x plus 4 equals 12. Okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do my little arcs to remind myself that I'm multiplying times both. So what I have to get rid of the parentheses. You guys understand that? In order to solve this, I can't solve this easily without getting rid of the parentheses. I mean, I could this particular one, but it's easiest. You always want to try to get rid of parentheses when you're solving for x. So I've got to do it. So I've got 2x, right? Plus what? 8 equals 12. Now I have a two-step equation. What do I do? Minus 8. So 2x, right, equals 4. Now what do I do? Divide by 2, right? Divide by 2, x is equal to 2. Right? Let's do another one. So how about I make it even harder? Let's say I do this. 4 minus 2 times 2x plus 1 equals 10. So this looks confusing. So watch this. I can immediately tell you what 80% of the people are going to mess up on if I put that on the homework. I didn't put this one on the homework.
Oh,
Does anybody know what they might mess up on? Eric?
They're going to subtract this.
Yeah, actually that's one of them. Some people will say, 4 minus 2 is 2. And then it's just 2 times this. Ooh.
No.
PEMDAS says
Parentheses, exponents.
parentheses. And when they say parentheses for PEMDAS, they're saying, can you do anything inside the parentheses? But I really can't, because they're not like terms, right? This is a 2x, and that's just a 1. They're not like terms. I can't combine them any further. So I can't do parentheses. I can't do exponent, because there aren't any. But now it's multiply. The multiply is this times this. But what am I multiplying times this?
2.
No! Negative 2. That's where people mess up. That's a negative 2. Think of it not 4 minus 2 times this. It's 4 and negative 2 times this. Negative 2 times this. So I'm going to be thinking of this times this and times this. So I immediately write my 4. Negative 2 times 2x is? Say it a little louder. Negative 4x. Okay, negative 2 times 1? Negative 2. That's where people mess up. They often just do 2 times 1 is positive, make it plus 2. But if there's a minus sign in front of that thing, you got to multiply that negative times the positive, which becomes a negative. Now I got rid of my parentheses, it equals 10. Are there any like terms I can combine first?
Yeah.
What? Which ones? Yeah, because those don't have x's. So I could, what's 4 minus 2?
2.
2. Minus 4x, right? Equals 10. Now what would I do?
You would add 2? Oh, no, you would subtract 2.
Subtract 2, right? I want the x's all by themselves. Subtract 2. So now I have negative 4x is equal to 8. Now what do I do? Divide by 4 or negative 4?
Positive 4.
How many people?
You're
Raise your
doing the
hand.
opposite.
How many people think you you divide by positive 4? Raise your hand. Okay, how many people think you divide by negative 4? Raise your hand. How many people didn't raise their hand? Okay. All right. Whatever is in front of the x is what you divide by. What's in front of the x? Negative 4. So divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. The negatives cross out, the 4's cross out, it becomes x. equals -2. Does that make sense? You guys get that? You get it? All right. So you're starting to see now, I've added one more step of complexity to this to the equations, right? We're
Well,
gonna
we
keep
see what we just did
we're gonna
earlier.
keep adding more complexities, right? Should I do one more? You guys got it?
Yes.
Everybody okay? All right, so that's it. That's the end of the lecture. So I'm going to pass out the homework, and you guys are